backup software is huge important because it allows us to manage and take all the value from the backup and recovery environment. Backup software can give us simplicity, can give us the enterprise scalability, can give us security. And today we will be talking about PowerProtect Data Manager, PowerProtect Data Manager as a backup recovery software. Our meeting is hands-on workshop, so all of us will be configuring PowerProtect Data Manager. We will be configuring PPDM. Let's call it this way. We will be configuring together. And the subject is backup and recovery of VMware environment, part 1, because there will be much more sessions like this about other functionalities. How our meeting will look like? First of all, the meeting will take no more than 2 hours. Okay, it will be one shot without a break. Then I want this will be a discussion by default. Sorry for that. Because we are in different environments, by default, I mute all of us. But if you want to talk, I appreciate very much to unmute yourself and comment, ask the question, or ask the question on the chat. Let's make it discussion. Please ask tough questions, because we talk about huge security solution, which is backup and recovery. We from cyber hacker virus, we recover just from the backup, so this is huge important. And again, I would like that this will be a discussion. Please ask questions, tough questions. And the last sentence as an introduction, I appreciate if you configure the environment together with me. So please configure this together with me. But of course, I will be switching. Many times to the board. I will try to draw and explain what we are doing and why we are doing what is happening in the backend. Okay. So hopefully every one of us has the environment started. If the lab is not 100% ready, no worry, it will be ready in a second. So as a short introduction, today we talk about backup and recovery, of course, environment. And we talk about PowerProtect Data Manager. So we have some environment that we want to protect. And we need two things to perform backup and recovery. We need a backup software. In our case, this is PowerProtect Data Manager. This is a backup recovery software, enterprise software that we'll be talking today. A huge number of fantastic features. And we need a backup media. Today, our backup media will be data domain. Yeah. So the backup media will be data domain. Okay, this is a backup media. And of course, the environment doesn't matter. The environment can have 10 terabytes. The protected environment can have 100 terabytes. It can be 1 petabyte. We do not care. It is PPDM, as I said. This is enterprise software. If you know networker, it can accept the same load as networker. Yeah, so this is a huge enterprise environment. Backup recovery software. Yes, the session, thank you very much for the question. Yes, the session is recorded. Absolutely, the session is recorded. And today we are talking, of course, PowerProtect Data Manager can protect whatever we want. It can protect virtual environments, okay, like VMware, Nutanix, Hyper-V. PowerProtect Data Manager can also backup and recover databases, no problem. It can backup like, SQL, Oracle, Postgres, whatever. whatever we want. It can backup and recover, of course, file systems, Windows, Linux, absolutely not problem. But today, what we will be talking about, we'll be talking about backup and recovery of VMware. Okay, and as I said, this is just part one. Okay, part one, because hopefully it will be even 5 parts of VMware, because the number of features, the number of capabilities that PowerProtect Data Manager has for VMware is really huge. And shortly, what we would like to show ourselves today, we would like to show about the VMware. We want to show the following things that we can achieve: speed and ease of use. Ease of use. What we will not show today, but of course PPDM has it, is security. Okay, so today we will not, of course, there is a security that PPDM provides. We will touch it in the next sessions. A small introduction, this was. At that moment, let's go to our environment. Hopefully your environment is ready. If not, again, I put for those who are new, I put the link on the chat. Please click on this link and start the environment, and then please join. Okay, so guys, the first thing that I appreciate if you can, again, those of us who, started the environment, has here the button was green, so the environment was ready and launch or resume. You should see the environment like this. The one thing, okay, just one moment. Okay, the environment should be something like that. The one thing that that I appreciate very much if you can do is the following. Please, hopefully, hide the right panel, because, we will have much more space. The second thing I appreciate very much if you can, put the bottom grid on the left side, then also we will have a little bit more space. Okay, so yeah, what you can do is lock the taskbar and just move it to the left side. Then our space will be a little bit bigger. Of course, the lab will be available longer, and you can just extend the lab here for something like 3 days. Yeah, so the lab can be extended for, in my opinion, for about 3 days. You have this extension button here. If you need it more, you can call me and I can create a lab just dedicated for you for a month, for 2 weeks, something like that, if you would like to practice PPDM more. Thanks a lot, Dov, for the question. Absolutely. So when we have the environment like this, okay, so maybe if anyone of us has the environment like in my screen, and just, the environment is ready, I appreciate very much if you can just put in the chat +1, okay, +1, like I have put. If, your lab is starting, please put a 0. If you are completely lost, please put -1. Thank you very much, Loris, Gareth, Muharem, Michel, Paul, Jan, Juraj, Balash, Gary, Ugur. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Exactly. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Ahmed. So I appreciate what we will do. Thank you, Ilya. What we will do at that moment, we will start. As I mentioned, our environment is ready. Okay, so this environment to protect is ready, especially virtual machines, they are ready. Our PowerProtect Data Manager is already installed. Our data domain here, a backup media, the place where we keep backup copies, is also ready, because PPDM is just a backup software. It is just a backup software. We need to remember this. We need, of course, a backup media. In our case, this is data domain. So all those elements, they are already configured. It's not complicated to configure this, but they are already configured. And what we will do at that moment, we will go to PowerProtect Data Manager console. to define the backup policy. We will define backup policy, of course, policy of backup and recovery of the VMware, okay? So this is what we want to do. So please launch, sorry, maybe it's not this one. So please just click in the Google and click open. Just, start the Google or, whatever browser, but here we have the Google, and please open the Google browser. Okay. And we see that the browser is already, the browser already, points us to PowerProtect Data Manager URL. So we have, the URL of PowerProtect Data Manager. If we are lost, we can click here on PowerProtect Data Manager. We can click on the PowerProtect Data Manager, and we need to log in to PPDM, of course. Yeah, so we need to log into the console of PowerProtect Data Manager to a backup software, and the login is admin. I will put in this in the chat. The user is admin, and the password is like in the chat. Okay, I also put it in the notepad here. You have it in the chat, but I also put it here in the notepad. So the user is admin, the highest user, and password is password 123. Yes, like this. Okay, so this is what we need to put to log in as the admin, as a highest user, and hopefully we're logged in. Hopefully we're logged in, and we see something which is new in PowerProtect Data Manager 20.1. Okay, so if someone has logged in successfully, like me, I appreciate +1. If someone is, ongoing, 0. But if someone is lost, -1. Thank you, Jan. Thank you, Loris, Michelle, Gary, Ilya, Kashar, Ahmed, Islam. Thank you very much. Paul, Ugur. If someone is new, I have put link to our lab. Okay, so so what we see at that moment is a dashboard of PowerProtect Data Manager systems, because we can have more than one PowerProtect Data Manager environment. We can have a couple of them. For example, one of them in France, one of them in Saudi Arabia, one of them in Poland, in USA, in whatever, okay? Doesn't matter. So we can have a couple of environments, of PPDM environments. And here, when we log in to PowerProtect Data Manager, when we log in to PowerProtect Data Manager, we see all, as you see, all systems. So we see all PowerProtect Data Managers in all the countries, in all the environments, whatever. And in our case, we have two PowerProtect Data Managers, PPDM1 and PPDM2. Why is it a super console? The super console is because we can see, first of all, a list of jobs, from all the, environments, all the countries, whatever. So we don't need to, log into every PPDM to see the log, to see the, protection jobs, logs or alerts. We can see all of them. If we want to configure any of this environment, we need to go to very specify, environment. Yeah, in our case, we go to PowerProtect Data Manager 01, PowerProtect Data Manager 01. So please choose from all systems PPDM 01. Okay. Thank you, Islam, Balash, Janos, thank you very much. And we are just moved to PPDM 01 environment. And then we see the welcome message from PPDM that this is a version of 20.1. My question to you, is it the newest version of PowerProtect Data Manager? You can answer by voice, you can answer by, in the chat. Is it a newest? Because we see that this is 20.1 version of PowerProtect Data Manager. Is it the newest one? So the answer is no. This is not the newest version of PPDM. The newest one is 20.2 that has been released yesterday. Okay, so yesterday there has been a new release of PPDM. As you can see, something like every 4 months, there is a new version of PPDM. So Dell really develops PPDM quite fast. Okay, but we can close the window. Okay, and what we see is a welcome window dashboard. We see currently a dashboard of PPDM. And what do we see in the dashboard? Okay, this is, let's say new environment, so we don't see any protection jobs. No, nothing like that. But it's nice that PPDM wants to show us last jobs, if they are successful or not. That's fine. Here in the health let's say square, PPDM shows us how well PPDM is configured. He say, okay, quite fine, okay, that's good, but there are something to improve. Okay, that's fine. Then we see capacity of backup media. Yeah? As you remember, our backup media is data domain. So what we see here, we see how much space do we have, how much space can we still use. So we see that we have 112 gigabytes of space on the data domain. About half of this is used, still a lot of to use, more than 50%. Okay, that's fine. We see if we have enough space. This is very nice windows in which we can see assets. Assets, it means what is protected. So what can be protected? Of course, assets is virtual machines. Assets are virtual machines. Assets are databases. Assets are file systems. So we see that in this environment, there are 49 assets, virtual machines, databases, file systems, but only 4 of them has been defined in some policies. So a lot of assets, virtual machines, databases, and so on, they are not protected. Very nice windows that shows us if we really manage the whole environment, if we really take care, if everything is from our side really done properly, all assets should be somehow taken care. Okay. We will have another sessions. I will show you how to do that, because even if we don't want to protect some asset, virtual machine, database, we can say to data domain, hey, data domain, we can say to PowerProtect data manager, hey, PPDM, this is a virtual machine which is not important. I don't want to backup it. So please don't show this as unprotected, but show it as taken care, because, I acknowledge you that this is fine, that I don't want to put it in any policy. Okay, so very nice feature of data domain. Another thing which is in very nice square also, anomaly alerts. PPDM, if backups, virtual machines, file system, can scan them if there is a virus inside, if there is some anomaly, like a lot of files deleted or something like that, or maybe some changes in configuration that are potentially provided by hacker, and who can see this anomaly, so he can really scan the backup copies, the copies, the backup copies, to be honest, and check if they are clean or not. Okay, if there is any question, please let me know. I see the message from Amr that you have a gray button, so regarding this launch. So please, if someone has joined recently, and here you have a gray button, the button is shadowed, faded. I appreciate very much if you can, refresh the window manually from time to time, and then finally it should be green, and then you can start. Ali, absolutely, please ask the question, no problem.
Hi, how are you?
Great, thank you very much.
My question is, can PPDM use the target backup any storage, or just must be data domain or data domain virtual edition?
Yeah, thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. So as a primary storage, as a first, stage, it must be a data domain. But what we can do, we can say, hey, PPDM, I want to keep my backups 1 month on a data domain for fast backup, fast recovery, but on the object storage, I will put it as a S3. I would like to keep it 5 years. Okay, so the first one must be a data domain, but we can, for a long-term retention, we can put it on an object storage, like local object storage in a public or private cloud. Okay.
Okay.
The reason.
Can the second copy can be tape library, or it's not support?
No, at that moment, no. What we can do is that there is a gateway. There is a gateway, and we have experience with this. So we have some installations where the gateway is kind of a soft server appliance that in front it shows as S3. In the backend, you can attach any tape library. Okay, so from PPDM you export for a long-term retention to object, because PPDM is object, but in a backend there is a tape library. So this is what is possible in case of PPDM and tape library. The reason for fact that first storage is a data domain is speed. This is what we touch at that moment. PPDM can back up really 2,000, 6,000 virtual machines per hour, and this is only possible if there is very intelligent storage. So this is why data domain is as a first part. Okay, but for a long term we can move to whatever storage. Any other question?
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much for the question. I appreciate it very much. Any other up to now? Okay, so as we said, what we want to do today, we want to back up a virtual environment. Okay, so what we assume, we assume that we have VMware environment with virtual machines. Okay, and we want to back up this VMware environment. Okay, this is a VMware. Of course, PPDM can back up Nutanix, Hyper-V, but as a virtualization. But today we talk about VMware specifically. Okay, we have some PPDM backup recovery server. As we said, we have a primary storage, which is data domain, and what we want to do, we want to configure and perform backups and recoveries of this environment. Okay, in our environment, so to be honest, primary, when we are in the PPDM console, what we need to do, we need to add VMware. Okay, honestly, we need to add vCenter. Okay. Yes, and we need to add data domain. So we need to add those two elements to PPDM. PPDM should have configured both vCenter and VMware, and PPDM should have configured data domain. And in our case, this is already done. Please click on the infrastructure. Please click on the infrastructure, and first click on the storage. Infrastructure storage. You see that there is a data domain already added. It's very easy. We will not do this today. Hopefully we'll do this in some other sessions. But data domain is added. And as we see in the dashboard, PPDM sees this data domain. Yeah. as the capacity. So data domain is added and it's already done, but just for information. And second thing that we would like to, add is of course vCenter. Yeah, vCenter. We also need to add vCenter because PPDM must know information about the virtual environment. And this is also added when you go to the asset sources. So asset sources, it means what kind of workloads, use cases PPDM can backup. We see that it can backup VMware vCenter, file system, MySQL, MariaDB, and so on in generic application, SQL, Microsoft, and we can add more workloads like Kubernetes, Exchange, SAP, PowerStore, and so on, Nutanix, and so on and so on. So there are a lot of workloads that PPDM can back up. We have here infrastructure asset sources. We see that we are in the VMware part because this is vCenter and the vCenter is already added. Yeah, so our vCenter is added. Of course, it does not have to be a single vCenter. As far as I remember, hopefully correctly, that we can add up to 25 of vCenters and we can recover between vCenters as well. Any question up to now? Murat, is it possible to backup a vCenter with more than PPDM? Can you use, okay, I mean, you mean, okay. Yes, you can add more than one PPDM to single vCenter. Absolutely, thank you very much. Sorry that I didn't understood. Yes, thanks a lot. Absolutely, it does not have to be, so to this vCenter, we can connect from more than one PPDM if there is, the reason for it. The only one thing that we should take care is that when you perform a backup, for example, of this virtual machine, then just one PPDM should be responsible for a single VM, but there can be another PPDM, PPDM2, that is responsible for this virtual machine. This is absolutely possible, but single virtual machine should be, generally, not in case of PPDM, should be managed just by one backup software because, there is CBT cleaning and other stuff. So generally single VM, single backup software, but there can be a lot of backup software connected to vCenter and they just backup a different part of the vCenter. Any other question? We will talk about, can two PPDM use the same driver alongside on the hypervisor? I don't know this, to be honest, Ahmed. I will need to check. Okay, so again, thanks a lot, Ahmed, for the question. So what we will do at that moment, because your question is exactly what we will do at that moment, we want to tell to PPDM, hey, PPDM, I want to backup and I want to configure a backup of my VMware, maybe not all virtual machines, but part of those virtual machines. I want to configure. So when we configure a backup in any backup software, usually we need to configure something which is called policy. And policy defines what? It means which virtual machines, this one or maybe this one, we want to backup. How often? Yeah, so I will write it as a frequency. Okay, so for example, to this data domain, then archive to the object or whatever. So we need to define where. And the third thing, we need to define retention. Okay, so how long we want to keep the backup. Yeah, so we need to define the retention. And this is what we do. We at that moment define the policy. Generally, this is, common thing in all the backup softwares. That usually the name of this is policy in most of the backup software. But for example, in Networker, this is called workflow. In Avamar, this is called a group. But usually, for example, in NetBackup, it's also called policy. Usually, it's called policy. Okay. So what we want to do, we go to protection, and in protection, we see protection policies, protection policies. We see that there are free protection policies already for virtual machines, SQL, file systems. So we have free policies. We see that there is one file system, asset counts. We see that there is one file system that is backed with file system, one SQL backup. Sorry, two databases in SQL backup, one virtual machine in some VMware policy. We see, we see also a couple of other stuff, but we just bypass this. Okay, we just bypass this. We assume that there is nothing here, and we want to start a new policy. Okay. Okay, and then we have a. We have a question from Mohammed. Does the retention is defined by PPDM or data domain? The retention we define in PPDM. Okay, the retention we define in PPDM. If this is a compliance mode, which we will be talking in future sessions, if this is compliance, then this compliance is defined on a data domain. Yeah, so data domain has a compliance which is locked. Data are locked, completely not changeable, immutable, changed to the stones, and so on. This is a feature of data domain. So if there is a compliance, we can define this compliance on a data domain. I will show it in a second. But generally, the retention is defined in PPDM. Loris, the cool thing is you can also replicate a backup to a second data domain. Absolutely, we will see this. We can define a backup to a data domain. We can define then archive to object. Yeah, I write it as free. We can also, as Loris mentioned, we can also define the replica to another data domain. The replica is between data domains, but just managed by PPDM. Thank you all for the comments and the questions. So let's define. We click add. We want to add a new policy. Add. Please click. Let's click, all of us, add, and we can just name the policy. The name of the policy. So we have a wizard. We have a wizard that leads us through definition of the policy. First, we need to provide a name. We call it VMware production, or whatever you want. Again, you can do your own way. You don't need to follow me exactly one-to-one. You can destroy this environment. That's all is fine, no problem. This is great thing to play and see the limitations. But if you want to follow me, then we can say, okay, VMware production. So we want to perform a backup of production virtual machines. Then we need to provide what type of policy. Do we want to define a backup for VMware, for virtual machines, for Hyper-V maybe, for SQL, for MariaDB, or Mongo, or Postgres, or maybe for file system? Because if we choose SQL, then of course the wizard will be a little bit different, because there is a different, tasks required to backup SQL comparing to VMware. But of course we want to backup VMware, but in future we will also, probably on next session, we will perform backup and recovery of SQL, and so on, of Hyper-V and so on. So we will go through all of this stuff, but today is VMware. Okay, a question from Ashraf: what is the common compression ratio when using PPDM rather than any backup software vendor with data domain? The common ratio should be, thanks a lot, Ashraf. Generally, the question is the data domain has a global deduplication, okay? So if PPDM performs the backup to data domain, but you have also another backup software that performs something different part of the environment, or for example, this virtual machine is backed, as an image from PPDM, but from inside, from Commvault, there is a global deduplication on the data domain as a general stuff. I will tell you about the exception. There is one exception, but as a standard, there is a global deduplication on a data domain. So if here is SQL, and you perform this as a VMDK virtual machine by PPDM to a data domain, and you perform a backup of SQL let's say from the COM vault. The second backup from the COM vault should take zero capacity on a data domain, zero occupancy. There should be no occupancy on a data domain because there is a global deduplication. Okay. Good. Okay. So let's go further. Then here we choose what type of backup, because again, what we has chosen, we said we want to backup VMware. Yeah, here VMware. So now he asked us about particular questions about just VMware. He asked, okay, Daniel, nice, you want to backup virtual machines, that's fine. What type of backup do you want to perform? A regular one, without informing database insight about the backup, which is, you know, standard approach. You want to inform application insight about the backup, or you want to define a policy which you say, okay, this is a policy exclusion. So it means, for example, this will be a policy like for, I don't know, for trial environment. Okay, so for example, we have this virtual machine is trial. We don't want to backup this because it's trial, so doesn't need to take space on a data domain, on a backup media, doesn't make sense to, you know, to pay any money for this backup. But we don't want, as you remember, in the beginning window, there was, you know, this virtual machine, which is only trial, it will be visible as, you know, not backupped, not taken care. So we can define special policy, which is called exclusion, and we can put there all virtual machines. Okay, this is exclusion, means this is a policy for virtual machines that we don't want to backup, but we want to, you know, inform PPDM, yes, they are taken care about. Okay. What about VSS backup for non-SQL machines? Thank you very much, Loris. So when we will, you know, what we will configure, we will configure crash consistent. We will configure this one, just a regular virtual machines backup. And this is exactly what you, Loris, mentioned, that this is a regular VSS backup. This is a regular VSS. There will be, you know, a VSS snapshot for registered applications perform, of course, assuming that there are VMware tools inside virtual machine. Okay, so here in crash consistence, VSS drivers, they will be started. Anyhow, the name is very, you know, frightened, but this is just normal backup of virtual machines in any backup software. So again, we can have three type of backups: regular one, this one for information, very specific, you know, cooperation with databases, and information for PPDM. This is, you know, some trial virtual machine. We just inform you that it won't be a backup. We have three type of policies. We took the regular one. We click next. And then he says, as you remember, we need to say in PPDM what we want to backup and in the policy. And this is the place where we want to add virtual machine assets. Here PPDM asks us, okay, what would you like to backup? And we have two type of methods. We have two type of methods to say to PPDM what we want to backup. First is manual, which we will do here, manual. And second is automatic. We can say to PPDM, hey, PPDM, gather all virtual machines, or only critical virtual machines, or only SQL virtual machines. So we can say that we don't want to manually add virtual machines to the policy. We want PPDM to add this automatically. Yes, this is, but we will have this in the future sessions. At that moment, we will add virtual machine to be backupped, or virtual machines, many virtual machines, manually. So let's click add what virtual machines we would like to backup. And if you don't mind, please add Linux 01. If you have issue to find it in the list, you can click you can put Linux and you see only the Linux Linux virtual machines. Just choose Linux 01. Okay, if you don't mind. We have some information about this this one. We see that this is on that Linux 01 is on ESX host ESX 01. Discover size, license size. If this is any policy, no, it's not in any policy at that moment. So we click add. Of course, we can add 2,000 virtual machines. We can add 1,000 virtual machines. In our case, to just, you know, to just control everything, we will add only one virtual machines. Normally, you add 100, 1,000 virtual machines. If you want, you can exclude some of the disks. For example, if a virtual machine, one moment. If this, for example, this is a Linux 01, and for example, if this Linux 01 has 3 disks, but only disk is with database, and it's important for us, we can backup only this one and exclude these 2 if we don't want, okay? So we can just exclude the disks if we want. This is the place. But in our case, we have only 1 disk in this virtual machine. So if we exclude this, there will be nothing to backup, okay? So if you don't mind, don't exclude it. And then we click next. Guys, if you are with me up to that moment, I appreciate your +1. If you are ongoing, 0. If you are completely lost, 0. -1. Thank you, Barak, Gary, Jan, David, Gareth, Islam, Chashar, Wafa, Ilya. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you all. Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot. So what we did up to now, we just say what we want to backup. Now we will define all other parameters. So how often we want to perform a backup, where we want to backup, how long we want to keep the backup, okay? And this is the windows where we do this. This is even the window that we can do it much more. That thank you again for all your comments, because we can say, I want to replicate to another location. I want to archive this to object storage, S3 storage. So we can define the whole, let's say, workflow, the whole, you know, dependency between all the backup copies that we have. But today, what we do, we will not be going through all the dependencies. So, for example, backup to data domain, replicate to remote site, archive to object. No, that much complicated scenario we will not do today. What we do, we will just perform a backup on a single media, on a single data domain, and we just add primary backup. So if you can just click this button, add, yeah, add. Let's change it. So first of all, we see that in PPDM for VMware virtual machines, we have just 2 options. Either synthetic full, which is the preferred method by PPDM. Okay, so what does it mean? It means that what we did so far, we have 1 virtual machine, which is Linux 01. We have PPDM that controls this all. And we have somewhere our data domain that, you know, stores all the backups. So what PPDM does, of course, this is a VMware environment, VMware. What what PPDM performs as backup of virtual machines in VMware, he says, I do only full backups. PPDM I only perform full backups that are full. Okay, and you can choose one of the 2 types of full, synthetic full or regular full, and PPDM recommend you synthetic full. You can tell me that you want to do synthetic full every hour, you want to keep it 30 days, but I recommend you synthetic full. So we cannot perform incremental backup. We cannot perform differential backup. PPDM always perform full backups of VMware. Okay? And he says, Daniel, what I recommend you is synthetic full. What does it mean? Let's imagine that I have a backup for 2 p.m., which is full of this Linux 01. There is, and this virtual machine is let's say 10 terabytes, okay? At 3 p.m., I can do you as well full backup. This is the only possibility. It must be full. It will be 10 terabytes. But what is the difference between those two options, synthetic full and regular full? The synthetic full, okay, so we have some DataStore, some disks for this Linux 01, okay, and here is some DataStore, here there is some, VMDK, okay, let's say VMDK. So here we have some VMDK for this one, and PPDM says I can, in backup, read all 10 terabytes in 3 p.m., 10 terabytes, and send to data domain this 10 terabytes, okay? And this will be regular full. Or I can, at 3 p.m., do virtual synthetic. So I will read only the change, only the delta between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m. I will read only the delta as PPDM and will send only a delta at 3 p.m. In both cases, it doesn't matter if you choose this one or this one, you will have exactly the same backup at 3 p.m., which will be just full backup with, of course, the full size of this virtual machine, which in our case is 10 terabytes of data. So in full or virtual synthetic, you always have on data domain a full backup. The same, this is exactly the same backup here. The only difference is that this will, it will, transfer very small, like, I don't know, 20 gigabytes, maybe, of data. Here you will need to transfer 10 terabytes and probably it will take, I don't know, 2 hours or something like that. But in both cases, you have exactly the same backup on a data domain. Okay, any question up to now?
Can you please clarify the difference between synthetic full and full? It should be full first and then synthetic full, because from where he will get the synthetic full, the difference between the full backup and the synthetic full.
I mean, when you choose synthetic full, if we choose, again, what we should choose, okay, maybe you should choose, just one moment. Oh, let's write it. Okay, so you should choose synthetic full always. And when we here will choose synthetic full, this is all what we need to do. Okay, when we choose synthetic full, this is synthetic full. Okay, this is all what is required from us. In such a case, PPDM will be reading only the change from the disk. There will be read only the change, like 20 gigabytes, okay, like 20 gigabytes or something like that. So it should be here, okay, something like 20 gigabytes. When we choose synthetic full, PPDM reads only delta, only the change in every backup, okay? When you, and then you have huge fast backups, as we will see in a second. it doesn't matter how big the virtual machine is. It can be 10 terabytes, 10 gigabytes, 100 gigabytes, 50 terabytes. The backup will be something like 1 minute, but we will have a full backup on a data domain, because what PPDM does in every synthetic full, here is the change, sends to data domain and says, hey, this is the change, please make a full, and data domain makes a full. This is why, this is also the answer for the first question, why data domain is a primary storage for PPDM. There is no other storage on the market can do this miracle, can do this, you know, incredible things like having 10 terabytes full in just, you know, 1 second, something like that. So coming back to this one, you just choose synthetic full and that's all. You will have huge fast backups. If you choose full, then you will have, you know, regular, then PPDM will read in every backup all the data, data, of course, but on the target, there will be exactly the same full.
Something in the chat, the first synthetic full, it will take all the data, 10 terabytes.
Yes,
Then
yes,
it will
yes,
take
absolutely.
the difference.
Absolutely.
Yes. Thank you. This is the point I want. Thank you.
Ashraf, so what is the difference between differential backup and synthetic backup? So we can say, you are right, you are right. Differential, we can say that what PPDM does is differential backup, or let's say incremental backup, however we can call it, because we read from the storage only the change, okay? But so we can say, yes, this is how, Ashraf, you are right. Somehow this is incremental or differential backup because we read only the change. But it's not completely true, because in differential backup here, you would have, you know, something like, you know, 20 gigabytes object. Yeah, this object that has been written. So if you would like to restore 3 PM, you would need to restore 2 PM, which is 10 terabytes, and then we would need to restore this one. Okay, so this is not the case in synthetic full. So synthetic full is, yes, reading is differential, but finally on the target you have a regular full. Okay, so we read differential, but on the target we have regular full, the same way like we would read the whole, you know, virtual machine in our example 10 terabytes. Yes, as Saji mentioned, synthetic backups performs incremental backup and merges this with last full. Thanks a lot, Saji. Any question to this one? So let's choose synthetic full. As I said, the synthetic full exists in PPDM, exists in data domain. In data domain, it exists over 10 years, something like 15 years. It works fantastic. It works incredibly. You will, you know, really, you will see the complete difference if you have any other method. This is a game changer, absolute game changer. Again, if we, in synthetic, we have a fulls, but synthetic full, because synthetic full, this synthetic full does not load. Okay.
Another question.
Yeah, please. Because this synthetic full does not read or read very small amount of data, we can do this even during the working hours, like at that moment, which is, you know, 11 AM in my time. So we can do this over the working day. So we can, and because it's huge fast, it takes 5 minutes, 1 minute, seconds, we can perform a backups every hour. Okay, so we choose synthetic full, read nothing, have it huge fast, no load. We want to have it every hour, and we want to keep this backup 30 days. Okay. Okay, this is the one thing. Also another thing. There is also okay. So at that moment, this is everything what we define here. About other options, we will discuss later. For example, we will be talking about retention log. Yeah, retention log, which is a compliance guaranteed recovery on a data domain. We can, you know, we can also turn it on. Now it's off. So we'll on the next sessions, we'll be talking about this one. We can also here define, for example, that these backups, which are every hour, we want to only perform, I don't know, in working hours. Like, for example, our environment, we want to perform a backup from 8 a.m. till 3 p.m. because this is, governmental institution, and only during this time there are some changes. So we don't want to perform backups outside this window. Okay, so if this is the case, we can define here, start and end period for every day. Okay. Moreover, I think that I have. Moreover, what we can do, we can see, you can save it. You can save it. And you can add another one. So you can say that, okay, this backup, we want to keep, for example, we want to perform a backup, which is every hour, of course, synthetic full, and we want to keep this 7 days, but we want to perform backups once per week, of course, also synthetic full on Sunday, and we want to keep just 1 month. Okay, we want to keep just 1 month. And more, we can add another one, add backup, and we want to say that we want to perform a monthly backup that we want to perform on the first day of the month, and we want to keep 1 year, 1 year. You see how nice, how easy it is, you see. We have at that moment very nice schedule. Every hour for 7 days, every week for a week or for a month, and every month for a year. Okay, please ask the question.
Daniel, just want to know this. The retention lock is the one for the immutable storage, the ransomware immutable, where we can enable it.
You mean, can we today? Your question is, can we enable today?
Yeah, the ransomware protect. I mean, the immutable storage, indeletable, immutable options.
So, do you want me to explain this feature, or you want?
Where should I now? Right now, this policy, this is immutable store. It's going to the immutable storage in the DD, or
No,
it is
no.
So if you want to enable, do we need to do anything?
Yes. So thanks a lot, Paul, for the question. So to make the copy immutable with compliance mode, we would need to, here in the infrastructure on the left side, we need to add a special entry, which is compliance to a data domain, and we need to choose this storage unit as a then we would need to choose this storage unit as a compliance one, okay? And then click retention log. So this is a little bit complicated at that moment, and we will not define this retention log now. If you click here retention log, then retention log will be governance, which is not immutable, because you can remove it. You can remove it if you have, two users, like on a data domain, sysadmin and security officer, you can remove it. If you want to have immutable copy, here it should be compliance. It should be compliance written, but we will configure compliance on one of the next sessions. Okay. At that moment, what I recommend is do not, turn on retention log, if you don't mind. We will be describing different retention log on the next session. Is it fine?
Yeah, thank you. We will see in that time much more questions.
Okay.
Probably, yeah.
Absolutely. So at that moment, let's choose just synthetic full, which will be performed every hour. We will want to keep it 30 days. That's fine, or whatever policy. As we said, we can now, later, we will also be configuring a replication, archive to object. We will also do this in the future. At that moment, we have defined, as you see, we have defined frequency every hour, where to data domain, and retention, which is 1 month. Yes. Thank you very much, Sagi. Thank you, Loris. Absolutely. Data Domain Virtual Edition at that moment, Data Domain Virtual Edition since 7.11, DDVE since 7.11 supports compliance. Yes. So we can absolutely show it on the next session. Absolutely, Sagi, you are right. If you want to have a real compliance, we need a data domain which is appliance, a hardware version. Okay, so we have defined parameters of the backup. Let's go to the next. And here we can choose a couple of things. The one thing that I want to, we will not be, at that moment discussing performance, capacity, swap, indexing, anomaly detection, guest file system quiescing. This is what you ask about the VSS and so on. What we want to discuss here with you is transparent snapshots. Okay, because you see that here we have two options: transparent snapshots and VADP. Transparent snapshots and VADP. What does it mean? What do I understand with this? Okay, so what I want to with you do at that moment is, okay, again, what we discussed at that moment is transparent snapshots versus VADP, which is the most important topic for today. Okay, the most important topic. By default, PPDM tells you or recommends transparent snapshots. Okay, so what does it mean? Okay, so what we do, we perform a backup of virtual machine, which is Linux, in our case, Linux 01. We have a PPDM backup recovery server. We have a data domain. And to be honest, what I will tell you is about VMware. So VMware has, since 2008, VMware for backup of virtual machines provide a method which is VADP. Okay. Okay. Since 2022. VMware provides, and of course you see this in our case, this is what every backup software can do. VADP can do every backup software. This is old method of backup virtual machines. Okay, since 2022, VMware provides a new way of backup virtual machines, which is called transparent snapshots. So, and PPDM is the only backup software that allows us to perform backups of virtual machines with transparent snapshots. So what is the value of the transparent snapshots? The value of the transparent snapshots is the following. First of all, there is no snapshots. Yes, transparent snapshots means no VMware during a backup. When we choose this method, transparent snapshots, it means that during our backup of this virtual machine, VMware will not create a snapshot. Okay. So it's huge important, because snapshot is, evil. It's demon. It's not good. We would like to, remove it. Especially the problem is that there is issue, because when there are what are the issue with snapshots? The first issue with snapshot is removal. For example, if this virtual machine would be 10 terabytes, and someone performs a backup of the VADP method with those snapshots, Then after the backup, the snapshot must be removed. And especially for big virtual machines, we have orphan snapshot, we have a lot of issue. It takes a long time. It's a huge problems. With transparent snapshot, there is no snapshot. There is absolutely no removal of the snapshot. We just, these VAD problems, they disappear. Okay, VMware problems disappear absolutely. The second thing is no load. Okay, the problem is that if you backup, maybe I will change the, if you backup this virtual machine to data domain, sorry, this virtual machine has some storage, and normal, you know, latency when there is a write request and this Linux 001 needs to write something to DataStore, it takes 0.5 milliseconds. When there is a VADP backup, this latency increases to 4 milliseconds, about 10 times. So when you have here SQL, Postgres, and so on, it means applications, database, it huge slows down. The users will see it, the processes will see it, because the VADP methods increases latency. It means that at that moment, 11 AM, I'm not able to perform this backup because people will come to me and say, Daniel, stop it. Our applications are slow. Okay. So this is a normal state. This is a VADP. This is VADP. Okay. When you have a transparent snapshots, this latency is 0.9 milliseconds. Okay, about the same like here. It's less than recover point. Recover point for virtual machines or Zerto from HP, they provide the latency 1.1 millisecond, which is seen as a normal one. Here, the latency in transparent snapshots will be less. Again, transparent snapshots says that there is no load. Okay, I mean, with snapshots, we have a huge load during a backup. With transparent snapshots, we have no loads because no snapshots, so no load. Okay, any question up to now? And the last thing, there is no proxy. No proxy. Because, for example, when you have VADP method in PPDM, networker, Vim, Convolt, usually there is a proxy. There is a proxy, okay? In VADP, there is a proxy for VADP. And this proxy, you know, from reads this one and send this one. In case of transparent snapshots, if we have transparent snapshots, the backup is performed directly by ESX. ESX perform, so we remove the proxy, okay? The proxy is removed in case of transparent snapshots. So what I recommend, so again, here, the bottom line, we should always choose transparent snapshots, which is huge faster, no load, no proxy, and much easier, you know, for the environment to perform it. This is all. To be honest, this is all. We can click finish at that moment, and we have defined the policy. I appreciate very much if you can put. I appreciate very much if you can put in the comment 0 if you find that, you know, configuring the policy in PPDM is super easy, and 10 if this is incredibly difficult. Okay, if you can put in the comment, you know, any number between 0 and 10. Okay, thank you, Gary, Loris, Gareth, Sagi, thank you very much. Thank you, Vafa. Thanks a lot. I absolutely agree. It wasn't. It was easy. So, thanks a lot, Islam, Moya, Mohammed. Thanks a lot, Jan. Thank you very much. Chashar, thanks a lot. Let's click finish. Let's click finish. So thanks a lot. Amr, thank you very much. So what we have done, we have defined our policy, which is VMware production. We have explained a little bit as well. We have just one asset, one virtual machine that will be backup. Normally we have hundreds of virtual machines. So we can wait till, I don't know, 12 to perform the backup. But of course, we don't want to wait that much. We want to perform the backup now. So please click on the policy. And you see that you can, of course, edit this policy. You can clone the parameters of the policy. You can disable this temporarily. You can export the parameters and you can protect now. So we want to say, hey, PPDM, perform backup of all virtual machines in these policies now, because we don't want to wait till 12. There will be some upgrade performed in the VMware. So we don't want to wait that long. Okay, and so again, for all of us, again, what I say to be on the same, click VMware production, click protect now, VMware production, our policy, protect now. This is what I want you to click. And then please, we can choose, because of course this policy can have a lot of virtual machines. So we can choose that we only want to, protect ad hoc only a couple of virtual machines, no problem, but we want to perform all of them. We can also define if this is synthetic full retention, because it's ad hoc backup, so some parameters we can perform. Of course, we want to have synthetic full. Let's click next. This is summary of what we have defined, and please click protect now. Please click protect now. And he says, okay, I have started. Oh my God. Few details. Oh, it's cute. Okay. Is there a limitation how many virtual machines can be protected per host with transparent snapshot methods? No. There is, you can perform as many virtual machines as you want with transparent snapshots. So you can define to policy as many as you want. At single moment, there will be maximum 20 virtual machines performed at the same time. Yeah, Nana. So this is the only thing. So at one moment there will be performed 20. Okay. So what you should see at that moment, that we have some cute we have some running or in a queue manual protecting VMware protection, some manual starting policy, sorry, and we need to, of course, wait a second. Absolutely, we have one job in progress. Generally, this is in jobs. In jobs, we have protection jobs. So I mean, backups, recovery. We have system jobs like, configuring something like that. Guys, if you have success like 100% like me, please +1. If you are ongoing, please put 0. If you are lost, -1. Thanks a lot, Gary, Gareth, Jan, Chashar, Loris, Balash, Adar, Ilya, Moya. Thanks a lot, guys. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Great thanks a lot for this. I hope that every one of us, but again, this was what you mentioned before. This is a first backup. So we see that the speed since second backup, because as we have discussed, since second backup, since second backup, there is sent only the delta, since second backup. So what I would like to ask you, please go again to the protection policies and please start again the backup. So please choose VMware production. Please click protect now. Again, all assets, synthetic full, it is required, absolutely. Click next and click protect now. So let's make a second backup. Let's go to jobs. Let's go to jobs, and we should see cute the second start of the policy. Okay, Loris, thank you very much. Let's wait a second. It should be finishing very, very short. If you have any questions, meantime, I appreciate it. It can be, you can unmute yourself. You can ask the question via chat. Absolutely, as how, you know, it's up to you. Yes, so we have successful the second backup. Again, appreciate. Thank you very much, Balazs. Thank you very much, Geza. So, guys, again, if you have there is Sagi. Thank you very much, Loris, for +1. So guys, +1 if you have second success, 0 if you are ongoing, and -1 if not, Sagi. I mean, there is GUI, of course, which is REST HTTPS, but there is also REST API. There is also REST API, okay, which is the, you know, the command line. Okay, so if you would like to have a command, there is a REST API. Okay. Thank you, Moya. Thank you, Alphaid, Sagi. Thank you very much. Guys, so what we said before is that should be this backup should be huge fast because we have synthetic fall. So we should see miracle, some, you know, something incredible. So let's see if we have it. Let's see if we have it. The second backup was this one, I think. Yeah. It was, and yes, this one, as you see, this one. So please click on this one here. Please. So what we want to do, what we want to achieve at that moment, we want to see parameters of the backup, how fast this backup was, what PPDM was doing, and so on. So please click here on this one. Okay, you have information about, you know, this asset, that about the asset that were performed and so on. You see that this was again, and here you can, you know, have access to exact logs here in this, you know, in this field. So in the job ID, so in this specific job, please click here again, and then you have a step log, like in my case. Okay, you see the step log. Hopefully. And what is in the step log? Okay, we see that there was 5 seconds of verifying resources. Some checking connectivity, it was 1 second. Okay, vMotion disabling 1/5 of the second. You know, making coherent the data, because we said there is no snapshot, but this line shows that there is some, you know, coherent data, which took 1 second. And here you see the magic, the real transfer. You see the real transfer here, the real transfer of we perform backup this virtual machine. ESX, here there is ESX. This ESX has read, this ESX has read this delta, okay? So there was a reading of this delta, sending to data domain and making the full, making here the full, yes? And this whole process, as you can see, took 13 seconds, okay? You see the miracle. This is the miracle. 13 seconds of full backup of virtual machine. And honestly, we do not care if this virtual machine is 10 terabytes, if there's 10 gigabytes, or I don't know, 50 terabytes. We only care how big is the change between the last 2 backups. Yeah, because between current backup and previous one. So the more often we perform the backup, the fastest backup will be, and this is the second miracle. And then there are a couple of other things. Again, 1.5 seconds. Some you know, some database management. Here we have some removing the freeze. In internal 15 milliseconds we can bypass. This is because PPDM has performed annotation that the backup was successful, enabling vMotion again 5 seconds, and some information vCenter 1 second. Totally it was 20 seconds. It was 20 seconds. Chaba, David, I hope that you are done. But guys, you can see that our backup of our virtual machine, this full backup, in my opinion, took about 25 seconds, which is incredible. It's incredible. What I can tell you that we can say that PPDM. Okay, so if I can ask you guys, if you can perform a screen in which you can show how long was synchronizing delta, how this one, synchronizing delta, so the real backup, if you can put in the chat, thank you very much, David. So if you can put in the chat the screen with your result, how long took your backup to finish, okay? If this was 13 seconds, we will try. Oh yeah, Loris 10 seconds, David 8 seconds. So David is master at that moment, to be honest. Or it can be, as David and Bala, Gerza 8 seconds. Yeah, if I show the whole screen, it was 10 seconds. Tom, 1 second. Gary, 8 seconds. Great. So guys, yeah, Sagi 8 seconds, Iliam 9 seconds. Okay, a little bit small competition, but guys, I think that you agree with me that this is incredibly great. And you see, we can say that one virtual machine is performed, in our case, this was 25 seconds. We can say, okay, let's make it 5 minutes. Let's make it 5 minutes. PPDM can back up not one virtual machine. He can back up 200 virtual machines at the same time. 200, okay? So in PPDM, we can back up 200 virtual machines at the same time. It will be still 5 seconds. They will be back up, in parallel. 200 virtual machines we can back up with PPDM at the same time. It will be still 5 minutes. So during 1 hour, if we multiply this by 12 to have 60 minutes, if we multiply this by 12 to say how many virtual machines in 1 hour, we will have 2,400 virtual machines per hour. So PPDM really in real environments perform backups from 1,000 to 6,000 VMs per hour. It's huge fast. David, 11 seconds. David, please, again, to have it faster. No, sorry, joking. A little bit stupid joke. But guys, you see here what we at that moment touch. We touch a huge speed. Of course, this is one virtual machine. Of course, we should add 200 virtual machines to see the real power, that this is a real huge fast truck going aircraft or something like that. But we have touched this a little bit. You see, we have a synthetic fall, so the magic is here in the synthetic fall. Of course, partially performed by data domain. Thank you, David. So guys, what I want to say and come back to the question from the beginning, part of this miracle of this 25 seconds, part of this is by PPDM, because here it's only with the synthetic fall, here it's only the change, and part of this miracle, 25 seconds, is by data domain, who performs what one of us explained on the chat, who performs the virtual synthetic, because honestly, this is a data domain. This is the hero that performs the virtual synthetic. He gets the delta, and he makes the full, yeah, which is incredible. Recovery, guys. The whole thing, of course, the policy that we perform was just the reason of this policy, the reason of this backup, the reason of this effort is to be able to restore. Okay, this is the reason that we want to be able to restore our data. Okay, so what we will do at that moment, we will perform a restore. Okay, so we have what we have. We have one virtual machine, which is Linux 01. We perform this on a data domain. Okay, we have two backups, and somewhere is PPDM that controls this whole stuff. And now we want to restore. Let's say this is damaged or something wrong. Okay, we want to restore. Thank you very much, Gareth. Exactly, we want to restore. So as you see, there is whole session about restore. Whole session about the restore. We can click assets. We can click assets. Okay. And we can, of course, restore VMware virtual machines, Hyper-V virtual machines, SQL databases, Mongo databases, file systems, Kubernetes, whatever. In our case, we want to restore virtual machines. And he says, hey, Daniel, maybe you want to. Okay, well, yeah, when we want to restore, of course, maybe we can, of course, first of all, the one thing that we can do, because we have here the backup one, here we have backup one, we have backup two of the slide of 01. And what PPDM offers us, he say, hey, Daniel, maybe you want to only search for some file like invoice. Yeah, you want to only find, because I'm able to index the inside, the content of this virtual machine. I'm able to index all the backups, and you can search. You can search for invoice. You can search for whatever you want. Okay. We will, and so you can click file search and you can search for this. We will not do this today. We want to say, okay, I want to really restore this virtual machine. Okay, so we click restore. He asks what should be the restore. We ask which virtual machine. So again, again, guys, what we do, we click on the on our virtual machine, and we click, of course, on the button restore. So let's click on the restore. Then he needs to, again, he wants to ask us to click on the virtual machine. We can choose the copy. There can be a lot of copies. Those copies can be in the archive, in local data domain, in the remote site, in local site, in the remote site. So we can, here we have only the local one site. If there will be another site or archive, there will be more icons here, and we can recover from whatever copy we want. And you see here that all the backups, they are really full. Okay, all the backups, they are really full. There is nothing like, I don't know, this is incremental, I need something. But you remember that the second backup, this is the second one, because this is 18, this is 21, this is second backup. This was virtual synthetic full. So let's try to recover this one. Okay, let's choose the copy, choose the latest copy, click OK, and then click next. Then he asked, hey, do you want me? I mean, PPDM asks, do you want me to restore all disks or maybe some of the disks? Okay, because this virtual machine may have a lot of disks, like 3 disks, and I only want to recover from, backup 2. I only want to recover, this is database disk. I want to recover only database disk. I don't need those 2. I want to recover another test virtual machine, the database, the disk with database for some testing. Okay, so we can restore individual disk, but we want to restore the entire virtual machine. And here, when we want to restore, the entire virtual machine, we have another three options. We can, because PPDM says to us, hey, great that you want to restore from backup to, but you have three options. The first option is, let's start from this one, restore to original. Restore to original means that this virtual machine was damaged by someone. Let's say this is 10 terabytes. This is 10 terabytes virtual machines, and this is damaged by someone. Okay, it's damaged, and I don't want. I want to repair. There are a couple of files that are missing or damaged. I don't know which one. So what PPDM will do, PPDM will not restore 10 terabytes. No, he will restore only what was damaged. So only the delta will be restored. Okay, so honestly, when I choose restore to original VM, he will repair my virtual machine. He will do it huge fast. Okay, he will do this huge fast. We will have a separate session about this one. We can, of course, restore to a new virtual machine. This is natural, absolutely, that we want to create a new virtual machine, which is 10 terabytes, and we want, of course, we want that PPDM will create a new virtual machine and he will restore the whole 10 terabytes of the data. Absolutely natural, absolutely normal. And the last option that we honestly will choose is instant access. So we say, hey, hey, PPDM, what I really want to do, I want you to start this virtual machine. You to start this virtual machine. Okay, this is our Linux 01. This is our PPDM. And we have a data domain with backup 1, backup 2. And I want this backup 2 to start from data domain because this is 10 terabytes. I don't have time to restore to some data store here, this 10 terabytes. There is no time for this. So please, PPDM, use data domain as a data store. Okay. Of course, data domain has SSD disks, and we will start the virtual machine directly from data domain. Of course, here we will create on some ESX, there will be a new virtual machine, let's say recovery 1 or whatever name, but we will not be recovering this to a production environment, to production data store. We will start from data domain, and here there are some SSD disks. So data domain allows us to start such a virtual machine directly from him, and he will be, behaving like regular storage, Dell, HP, IBM storage. He will be, and this is very nice because if you want to check something in the 10 terabytes database, one select, if this data are available in this database, we would need to restore 10 terabytes, use this 10 terabytes for just one select. Here we will start on a data domain, and we can very fast check a lot of backup copies because we can perform instant access. Okay, so this is what we do, instant access. Let's click next. And then PPDM ask us, hey, to which vCenter do you want to recover? Because you remember what I mentioned, that PPDM allows us, of course, this is some vCenter, yeah, but PPDM can work with vCenter 2, vCenter 3, up to 25 vCenters. So this virtual machine, which is, here as a backup 2, backup 1, we can recover to another vCenter. This backup 2 can be recovered to another vCenter. In our case, we have only one vCenter, unfortunately, so it's not possible to recover here in this environment to another vCenter because we don't have any other vCenter. But normally, if you have 3 vCenters, you can recover between vCenters. Then we need to choose on which ESX there will be computation. Okay, because of course we will not recover data in real, because the data store will be on the data domain, but some computing, we need some, memory, processor, this is Linux virtual machine, we need some operating system to work somewhere. So we need to choose the ESX server on which it will be working. Then we click next. And because this will be a real virtual machine, this is a real virtual machine, so we need to name it somehow. Let's name it R1. And then we can choose some options. Shall we power the virtual machine so we restore VM tags, use some compression during the transfer of the data, UUID, should we recover? Okay, let's make it default. Let's go next. And then he says, hey, Daniel, it's good to not connect the network, because if this R1 will be booted, then of course the IP here and IP here will be the same. So I recommend you to not connect the network adapter during booting. So it will be isolated, or maybe connect to any other network, because otherwise you will have IP config. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks you. Thanks, Sagi, for support. Thanks. Yes, Rafi, absolutely. This will be NFS mount, NFS export. So this data store will be shown to vCenter, to ESX as an NFS export. Absolutely. So we do not connect network. We click next. And the last one, the magic button, or a little bit, if this will be real situation, this will be a little bit, stress. Will it work on that or not? Let's click restore. Let's click restore. Let's click restore, and then let's go to the view details. View details, jobs, protection jobs. We have instant access, providing live access to new virtual machine. Guys, if you have this message in front of you, I appreciate your +1. If you are ongoing 0 and lost -1. Thank you very much, Gareth, Gary, Geza, David, Jan, Moja, Ilya, Loris, thank you very much. Great, thanks. Sagi, Afait, sorry. Loris, thanks a lot. Thank you very much, guys. Appreciating very much. Rafi, thanks a lot. But we want to see this virtual machine in VMware. So let's open another tab, new tab in our Google Chrome. And let's click VCSA 7 in the meantime to not waste our time. VCS 7. Let's launch vSphere client. And here should be credential should be admin at vSphere.local. And password, as before, password 123 with the special mark. And so admin at vSphere.local and regular password 123 and the special sign. And we should be inside the vCenter. And we should be inside the vCenter from which we perform the backups. We have this environment, yes, Gareth, congratulations, special reward. Yes, absolutely, you have it. So if you have R1 like Gareth, I appreciate +1. If you are in the ongoing process, -1, thank you, Gary. Thank you, Alfait, Sagi, Geza. Thanks a lot. Jan, thank you very much. David, thanks a lot. Amr, thanks a lot. Okay, so we have it. So guys, another success. Another success. Thanks a lot. So we have recovered this virtual machine. So what we did, we have showed to our colleagues a R1, we have R1 virtual machines immediately, because there was no recovery. Even if this is 10 terabytes backup, we immediately started this virtual machine. Thank you very much, Hassan. Thanks a lot. We have started this virtual machine. So that's great. But we can, this is last thing that we do today. We are just finishing, guys. Last thing. We can watch this instant access session in PPDM in a running session. We see mounted. This is mounted, live mount on DDV1 that we didn't restore. We started from a backup media from a data domain. When we click on this, we can click and see how long it will be shown. So we see that by default, this is for 1 day. Okay. So why this is for 1 day? Okay. So this virtual machine R1 is for 1 day. Why is it for 1 day? Any guess? It can be maximum 7 days, as you see. Yeah. Why? Why not forever? Because we need to understand that this data domain make a favor for us, for databases guys, for VMware guys, for production guys. He make a favor because data domain is a backup recovery media. He's for, yes, exactly, Sagi. Yeah, to save resources. Thanks a lot, Gareth, Sagi, and thanks a lot. Yes, thanks a lot. Yes, absolutely, to save resources, because to be honest, this instant access loads data domain, and data domain needs resources for backup, for recovery, for replication, for a lot of stuff. So to be honest, this should be in the following. If someone comes to us as a backup administrators and say, hey, okay, yes, Mohammed, no, please, absolutely, please ask the question, no problem.
Is the PPDM will restore the virtual machine during its running from the data domain, or should I give it the order to restore it while I'm running it from the data domain? Thank you.
Great question. Thank you very much. Absolutely great. Thanks a lot. Yes. I just give me a couple of seconds. I will. Yes, it is expected exactly. Thank you, Jan. Exactly as you written. This is expected to migrate this one to real storage. Why? Because this feature is for following use case. We have a huge 10 terabytes database. We don't want to restore this database from a week ago, like today is Wednesday, 1st of July. We want to check something from a week ago, Wednesday, I don't know, 24th of July, okay, for example. And someone asked, hey, Daniel, can you restore 24 July? Because I want to check if in our database there was a record about Olkowski. Was this record or not? Because we have a lot of problems with Olkowski. And I say, no problem. In a second, you will have this 10 terabytes database, put a select. And he say, no, there is no. So, okay, so can you make it for Friday, 27th of July? Okay, no problem. Yeah, there is this. Yeah, Olkowski was there. Okay, so I need a month to work on this, historical copy. So I can say, my friend, let's say Thomas, my friend, I like you very much, but I cannot agree that this will be for 1 month working on a data domain, because this will be a big occupancy. So please, I know that you have 20 terabytes free storage here. I will migrate this, this copy to you, because I understand this is what you wanted. We checked 5 copies. This one, this is the copy that you want to work on. No problem. I will transfer you this copy to real, DataStore, and we can do this transfer very, very nice. You see, we can click migrate. This is the last thing that we will do. Let's click migrate, and PPDM says, okay, Daniel, so you found your desired backup copy and you want to migrate to real data store to work for a month, a year, or whatever. Yes, I say yes. I say yes. And I need to choose a storage, a data store, one of the data stores. You can choose whatever you want. I will choose this one. This one for ESX01. Hopefully this one will be visible. It's a lot of space free, and you click next. And the last thing you click is migrate. Migrate. And again, we see the fourth job for today. Relocate virtual machine R1, because this is a real virtual machine that is running. You see this R1 is running, of course. When I click on this, you see this virtual machine is really running. It's Linux 01, it's running, it's nice one. And now this virtual machine is relocating from data domain, from backup media, is relocating to production data store. And hopefully, when you have it done, when you have it, successful, please put +1. If you have a failure, please put -1. And hopefully all of us will have the 4th success, which is incredible. And this is all for today. This is all for today. Do you have any questions from this subject or whatever subject? Alpha 8 is the first one. Congratulations, the winner. Yes, the migration was done. Fantastic. Fantastic. Thanks a lot. I have, yes, Loris, yeah, is going on. Okay. I also put +1 because I'm done. Gaza is done. Fantastic. Okay, so guys, I'm waiting for you, and I will a little bit summary today's. So what we did, so we have a lot of pictures today. So what we did today, we touched PowerProtect Data Manager. We touched PowerProtect Data Manager, which is backup recovery software. Okay, we defined the policy. Okay, and we were discussing. Of course, we defined policy for VMware, virtual machines, VMware, and we used transparent snapshots. Incredible methodology of backup VMware. Of course, VADP is also possible in PPDM. We can also backup with VADP if you want, but we perform transparent snapshots backups. This is another picture that we perform. We said that we can backup 1,000 to 6,000 virtual machines per hour. We perform a recovery that was successful, and of course we performed the migration because we found our desired copy. We performed recovery. It was instant access. We started from a data domain. We found our good copy, and we transformed this to real storage. Sagi, Gareth, thank you very much. Gary, Loris, Geza, thanks a lot. So that's all for today. Hopefully all of you have 4 green successes. Thanks a lot. Thank you, Amr. Thank you, Moya. Thank you, Hassan. Thanks a lot, guys. So, guys, thank you very much for the discussion. Thanks you very much for the time, 2 hours together. Hopefully, it was one good shot. There will be future ones like this, and I will send the information to all of us about this one. Loris, shall we destroy this lab? No, it will be destroyed automatically during the night. Absolutely. If you want to extend this lab to keep you for longer, you can extend it. By default, this will be destroyed. What is recommendation for PPDM installation? Thank you very much for the question. So if we talk about the installation of PPDM, PPDM as a backup recovery software can be installed on a virtual machine in VMware or VA, or it will be installed as a bare metal on a Linux, which can be SUSE or Red Hat. It requires 40 gigabytes of memory. I don't remember how many cores, but requires 40 gigabytes memory. This is what is required. Absolutely. Jan, credential to data domain, absolutely. So credential to data domain is sysadmin. Thank you very much, Jan, for a question. Sysadmin password 123.
I think it's OVF, and it will decide the size of the memory and the storage and processor. If you deploy it on the VMware environment.
Yes. This is ready, absolutely ready to install OVA. And it just, it has predefined resources that it will take.
I extend
Thank you
the
very
lab,
much.
Daniel. I extend the lab. How long it will take until destroy?
It was set 2080 minutes, I think. So I think it will be 24 hours. 24 hours.
Nice.
I think that it should be. Yeah. When you go here, you see here you should have the time. Yeah. After extension, here is the information how long it will work. Okay. Yes, thank you very much, Loris. Thanks a lot for the information. So if there is any other question, I appreciate it very much. If I missed or whatever.
Yes.
Yes, please.
I want to ask something about if someone destroy my VMFS storage, all the VMS data store, I will lose the PPDM also. So
yes.
maybe I should install it in different location, different server.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you are right. So we didn't touch it today. This is a good topic, absolutely. So you can see that here in this settings here, you have disaster recovery of PPDM. So you can define how often PPDM should backup itself. Okay. Then if your environment is completely destroyed, this one is completely destroyed, and you have only copy of this PPDM, let's say you have a replica to another site with backups and PPDM. So you can start a new PPDM, and this new PPDM asks you a new OVA that you have just installed. This new OVA asks you if you would like to restore from a backup. You can restore here, and you will see all virtual machines. You can connect to vCenter, and you can recover whole virtual machines. Okay, does it satisfy?
Is the PPDM will if you deploy a new PPDM after disaster
yes
happened, if it will request the catalog from data domain to restore from it?
Yes,
that's right.
Yes, exactly as you said. I mean, because when you install PPDM, he gives you two options. The option one, I am a new one, and you start from a scratch a new environment. And the second one, no, it is not new one. I want to recover existing PPDM. And then in the second one, exactly as you said, he will say, okay, if you want me to be the PPDM that was, killed, tell me where there is a catalog, on which data domain there is catalog. And then you provide the data domain, he restores the catalog, and you have the PPDM that was here.
If I deploy a new OVF for the PPDM after disaster happened, can I restore virtual machine by saying to the PPDM that there is a catalog on the data domain? If it's a new installation for the PPDM?
Yes.
Thank you.
Absolutely, yes. Okay. So, guys, again, thank you very much for the discussion. If there is any other question, I appreciate. Thank you very much for the discussion, for the whole session. Again, there will be future sessions about topics that you have, touched and so on. I will send the information about this one and hopefully see you in the future. Thank you again. Have a great day. See you in the future. Thank you.